everyone. Thanks for thanks for joining us. I'm so excited that you're here joining the webinar tonight. Welcome to my free webinar about the top 3 mistakes that people make when they start a new way of eating and what to do instead. My name is Marianne Newman, and I'm the owner of Purely You Wellness. And I'm so happy to be on the webinar with you tonight. I'm planning to be all done in 30 minutes or less, but if you can hang on till the end, I have a special gift for you then. So let's do some quick housekeeping because I am not a medical professional. I do have to do this quick disclaimer that says that this information is being provided to you for educational and informational purposes only. It's being provided to educate you about how to take care of your own body and as a self-help tool for your own use so that you can reach your own health goals. It's not intended to treat or cure any specific illness, and it's not intended to replace the guidance provided by your own medical practitioner. This information is to be used at your own risk and on your own judgment. So if you suspect you have a medical problem, we urge you to take appropriate action by seeing a medical professional. Okay, so we've got the disclaimer out of the way. Let me tell you a little bit about me. So I already told you my name is Marianne. I was diagnosed at age 16 with hypothyroidism, and then only a few years later with the autoimmune version of the disease, the thyroid disease called Hashimoto's. And my heart started racing really, and that really caused a lot of concern in the medical world and with me as well. And my endocrinologist decided that I needed to have my thyroid shut down with radioactive iodine to feel better. Unfortunately, that never happened, and I struggled with a long list of symptoms, such as constant fatigue, weight gain, joint pain, brain fog, just constantly being cold. And so I was just having a really hard time for a long time. And after my daughter was born, I knew that I was never going to be the mom that she deserved if I didn't find a way to get better. So I did a lot of research, a lot of trial and error in order to try to regain my health. And I found some great ways to do that. So I decided that I didn't want other people to feel as hopeless and struggle as much as I did with this disease. So I actually went back to school to be a health coach so I could help others who were struggling as well. And that's how I got here. So you signed up for the webinar, and so clearly you were thinking about possibly changing what you eat. And so, you know, this time of year, it's easy to start thinking about that just because everybody else is doing it. And one thing I would just recommend is that you want to really look deep and determine what it is or what is your why for wanting to change your diet. Now, there could be some things in your life that are pointing to why you want to change your diet. So lots of symptoms, like I talked about earlier. If you're always cold, you're gaining weight, or you're struggling to lose weight, you have trouble sleeping, or you have joint pain or digestive issues. All of those things could be pointing to a bigger issue. Another why might be that your energy isn't where you want it to be. So you might struggle to get out of bed in the morning, or you might be struggling with, you know, just drinking caffeine all day long just to get through the day. So that could be something that is causing a lot of trouble for you. And then the last thing to consider is cravings. So after coming through the holiday season, many of us indulged a bit more than we normally do, and that can set up a cycle where you crave more and more, especially sugar. So all of these things might be pointing to the fact that you might benefit from a diet change. So if you've made that decision or you're seriously considering it, let me help you get started successfully by avoiding some of the most common mistakes. So mistake number one is starting a program that's too complex. So I'm one of those people who doesn't always like to start at the beginning. I want to be good at everything I try right now. And that's natural for many of us. With a food change, this gets a little tricky though, because we have a really complex food relationship with food. The challenge is that we can't avoid it. We need to eat several times a day to stay nourished and healthy. And for many emotional and addictive eaters, this is where the problem lies. You just can't give up the thing that's causing you the most pain. So starting the right program is an incredible opportunity for you to look at the eating habits, your eating habits, from an analytical perspective. Most of us have some kind of attachment to a certain food, whether it's sugar or potato chips or a glass of wine at the end of the day. Many programs require you to give up a lot of foods at once. Some even require that you give up foods altogether and just live on juice for a few weeks. The reality is that most of us don't have the opportunity to take a week and just rest and have someone cook for us and give us a massage every day. But that doesn't mean that you can't benefit from a program anyway. There are plenty of short programs that are quick to administer and deliver real results. Even better, there are plenty of programs out there that take a lot of the work out of it for you. In fact, I no longer do programs where it doesn't help me out by giving me lots of ideas about what to eat and tips and checklists to make it easier. Because who hasn't joined a program and then got halfway through and thought, I have no idea what to eat, I don't know what to do, and you just end up quitting because it's too complex. So the moral of that mistake is, when you're searching for a program, be sure to choose one that gives you more information than you think you'll ever need, so that you aren't left feeling frustrated and stuck. So mistake number 2, going it alone. So have you ever tried to use willpower to get yourself to do something? How did that go for you? Were you able to get through what you needed to, or did you end up in worse shape than when you started? Oh man, I've so done this one. I've tried all sorts of programs on my own, and it never ends well. When I try to rely on my willpower and in my attempts to force myself to stick to a diet, I just end up feeling frustrated and alone and mostly ticked off. When you really think about it, food is all about inclusion and friendships and relaxation. When I've done programs on my own before, it can feel like a jail sentence that I couldn't wait to have end. And it really stinks to be eating food that's totally different from what your friends and family are eating. So here's the solution. I figured out that it's really important to get a few friends together so that you can support each other as you go through the program. Or more often, I join a group where there's a leader and I'm able to connect with other people who are doing the same thing. Considering the amount of connectivity that we have these days with our smartphones and our laptops, you're able to find a group program no matter where you live. Even if it's just you and your spouse or you and your best friend agreeing to do the program together, having a support system in place increases your chances of success so much. So you're so much more likely to less likely to cheat if you've got someone on your side. And it's even easier to stick with if you've got an easy to follow program with real foods and have a connection to a group and a group leader. Regardless of what kind of program you choose, give yourself the benefit of a cheering section so you can keep going when the going gets tough. I'm also going to be sharing with you how to join a really great supportive group after we talk about mistake number 3. So mistake number 3, punishing yourself. Oh, who has felt like that little boy? I've had so many people tell me that they're so nervous about what's going on, what's going to happen to them if they try to change their diet. They worry about being hungry or too tired or frankly spending too much time in the bathroom. Let's be real clear about this one. It's absolutely not necessary to do a hardcore program that forces you to suffer to get a benefit. Many diets, in my opinion, actually are far more dangerous and damaging for most people than effective. And gentle, whole foods-based programs are incredibly effective, and they're more likely to help you make a lasting change that impacts your health over the long term. Because seriously, what's the point of doing a lemon juice cleanse if you're going to be so miserable halfway through that you just give up and dive into a bag of chips? This is actually one of the worst things that you can do, because with a lemon juice cleanse, now you've pushed your body into believing that you're starving. And guess what happens when you eat again? Then your body stores all that fat to protect you from starvation. So you just end up gaining weight. It's so frustrating. Another thing I want to mention regarding punishment is that I encourage you to choose a program that you want to do, not one that you should do or that your friends are doing, one that feels that right to you and your needs. Listen, very few people are capable of taking on difficult challenges like running a marathon without a lot of training and learning. Let food be, your food experience be the same way, and I promise you won't feel like you're deprived or suffering. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. Mistake number one, don't take on something that's too complex just because you think you should or because your friends are doing it. Instead, find a program that meets your needs and your time frame. Mistake number two is going it alone. Misery loves company, right? Just kidding. Okay, so it does help though to have a partner in crime or two when you're doing something new. And I'm going to share with you a great new way to be sure that you have the right kind of support next time. Mistake number three is punishing yourself. If I had to say this in just one sentence, it would be this: trust yourself and your body enough to know that your body will tell you what it needs. That means if you find yourself really struggling or hungry or lightheaded when going through the program, do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Don't force yourself to go through a program that just isn't working for you. And really aim to do programs that have the right blend of support, real food, and real life flexibility that will set you up for success instead of leaving you feel inadequate. All right, so that's the mistakes. Now I wanted to tell you a little bit about the program that I mentioned earlier. So I offer a super supportive, gentle, and effective program called Jumpstart in January Whole Foods Program. So I'm qualified to talk about beginners' needs because I've done this program with many of my clients who have never tried a whole food program before, and they've been able to successfully complete my 5-day program. And I have to tell you, it's been so much fun. I remember what it felt like the first time I started the program. I was worried I wouldn't be able to stick to the diet, and what on earth would I eat? And frankly, I thought maybe I would cheat. And here I am, now I'm leading the program because it went so well for me. So if your curiosity is piqued, but now you're nervous about trying it on your own, then definitely keep listening. I'd like to invite you to join me on my 5-day Jumpstart in January Whole Foods program for beginners. It'll be a virtual group program that we're going to start on next Monday, January 20th. And you can find out more on my website at purelyyouwellness.com/events. Now, the 5-day program for beginners is different because it focuses on whole, real foods. So you won't be forced to make huge leaps in your diet unless you really want to, and you'll be able to use the recipes again and again. The 5-day Jumpstart in January program for beginners also includes tons of support. As I mentioned earlier, this is one of the biggest mistakes I made when I first started out, going it alone. Although this works for some people, I just happen to be one of those people who does better when I'm held accountable and I have a place to go to get support and ask questions when I'm stuck. So let me give you a little bit of the program highlights. So it's a 5-day Whole Foods program with tons of support and guidance from me, a certified health coach. And I'm not going to let you slip between the cracks or hide out. You also get a complete daily protocol with step-by-step instructions on what to do when. You'll get recipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinners, along with snacks and sweet treats, so you won't have to worry about whether a food is okay. I'll also spell out everything for you. You'll also get access to an exclusive members-only Facebook group where you'll be able to connect with me and other group members. And if you've never done this before, that's one of the best parts, is to be able to have a group that is supportive of you as you're going through this. And then finally, we'll do a live training call where this Friday, where I'll explain the program step by step, and you'll have a chance to ask questions before you get started. And if you can't join the live training call, we'll have that recorded and available in the group for you. And then there's a bunch of bonuses as well. So I'm going to give you a complete shopping list template so you can just zip right through the grocery store. There's a Deepen to Detox bonus handbook so that you can do more if you want to do more. There's an eating out guide. And then at the end of the program, we'll also have a post-program strategy call check-in with me, so you can ask questions and get some tips to help you go forward. So I wanted to address a few of the common questions I get about the program. So people have asked me, well, what kind of results can I expect? And that really is a unique thing for each person. So almost everybody has a little bit of a different result. And having done it multiple times, you can have different results. But in general, you can expect to learn a little bit about your eating habits. You'll likely feel better, look better, sleep better, and many people lose weight on the 5-day program. Now, the reality is that it's a 5-day program, so it isn't going to fix everything, but it is part of a whole process, and that makes it extremely valuable. So if you feel better after 5 days, imagine what it would be like if you kept going and what would be possible at 10 days or a month or a year. My clients feel better for the long term after working with me, and we focus on what you can eat much more than what you shouldn't eat. So the next common question that I get is, will I starve? And this is definitely a no. In the winter, it's important to remember that it's cold outside. So starting a juice cleanse or eating a bunch of salads this time of year can really backfire on you, because your body thinks you're in famine after feasting over the holidays. It's better to focus on eating nutrient-rich foods that nourish you from the inside out and get you looking and feeling better in less than a week. My Jumpstart in January program is packed full of yummy recipes with foods like whole grains and lean proteins and legumes and beans, and of course, lots of naturally cleansing vegetables. My clients rave about the recipes, and a lot of people tell me that they want to eat like this all the time. So the last question is, I'm super busy. Can I realistically do this? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can, but you'll have to carve out a little bit of time to prepare. Just like I'm not going to promise that this is a miracle solution for all your health problems, I'm also not going to promise that there's no work involved. However, I've made it as simple as possible by providing real foods that your family will likely eat with you. I've also created a meal plan and a very clear daily protocol, so you'll know what to do and what to eat and when. I've also created what many people call the best part, which is a done-for-you shopping list that allows you to just print and head to the grocery store. One last thing is I've broken out the program so that you can do the program at the level that's right for you. So if cutting out certain foods like sugar or alcohol is where you need to start, then start there. If you want to go deeper, you can use some optional supplements to boost your body's detoxing capabilities. So I mentioned at the beginning, I have a special bonus for those of you who have hung on to this point. And that special bonus is a free 30-minute private one-on-one call with me to discuss the ways to make the successes you've had in the 5-day program last. So for anyone who joins Jumpstart in January by tomorrow, Tuesday at midnight, you will get this free bonus one-on-one call with me, and we will schedule that in the 2 weeks right after the program ends. So I'm super excited about that extra bonus that you're going to get for being here. Last question, how do I sign up? You want to go to my website at www.purelyyouwellness.com, and Purely You, there's 2 Y's in there, don't let that trip you up, purelyyouwellness.com/events. And the last thing is, if you want to contact me, if you have questions, you can email me at marianne@purelyyouwellness.com. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at purelyyouwellness. And you can join my private Facebook group, which is called the Thyroid Tired Moms. So thank you so much for being here this evening. I hope to see you in the Jumpstart in January program soon. Have a great evening.